Hi there, thank you so much for joining me today. This video is something that I've been seeing floating around quite a bit and I've been loving watching everyone's version of this. It's an idea created by Emily Noel. She did a $1,000 wish list from Sephora video a couple weeks back and I really wanted to do my own version. If I just had $1,000 to spend at Sephora, what would I buy? And I think Sephora is good because I don't really purchase a lot of things from Sephora. I think I only bought like one thing from Sephora last year. Let me check. So I went and checked my haul information that I keep saved, that I keep tabs on, and I haven't purchased anything from Sephora this year, and I only made 2 purchases from Sephora last year, so not really something that I buy a lot from. They do have a lot of brands that I would be interested in trying, but when I buy makeup, I typically either purchase from the Ulta website just because I like their rewards program better. I'll either purchase directly from the brand's website, or I prefer using websites like Nordstrom and Dermstore. I just don't really like Sephora. I don't like their rewards program. I don't even think I get the 10% off, and if I do, I always miss the window for it, so I just don't really ever bother with Sephora. There are some things in particular I like to get from Sephora, specifically the Cinema Secrets brush cleaner and maybe one other thing, but for the most part I'm fine with just purchasing from other websites. This is stuff that I've probably had sitting in my loves list for a long time, and to go through and really figure out what was new, what were some brands I would be interested in trying. It was a fun exercise, and I tried to put it in some kind of order, but there really isn't any order in particular, so I'm just going to start from the top. One of the brands I would like to try a lot of things from is Hourglass. I do have a handful of things from that brand, but I just really hear good things about some of their products in particular, but it's a very expensive brand, so I don't really splurge that often. I have used the Dim Light Powder Up, I have a blush from the brand, and I'm in the process of finishing up the face powder from Hourglass, but there are some other products from the brand I would like to try, specifically the Veil Mineral Primer. I remember people gushed about this for years, even though it was super expensive. So I would pick up a mini of this just to try it, 0.3 ounces. I think that's good because I don't want to purchase a full size of a primer because sometimes I just don't like primers. So I figured it'd be less wasteful to purchase the small size, and then of course hypothetically in this situation, if I actually loved it, then I can purchase the full size or even the value size down the line. The other product I have from Hourglass is one of their blushes. It's in the shade Mood Exposure. This is a plummy type of shade, and I always hear such good things about this shade in particular. It was either between this and Ethereal Glow, I believe it's called, which is more of like a cool toned pink. I figured Mood Exposure would be a shade that I'd wear more. It'd be more of like an everyday shade for me. I have Incandescent Electra and I love it, so I would definitely, if I had the money, if I had $1,000 to spend, I would definitely pick up another Hourglass blush. I mostly have makeup. I would say like 90% of the stuff I'm going to talk about today is makeup, but I do have a hair care brand that I'd like to try more from, and that's Amika. Specifically, I want to try their Bust Your Brass Purple Conditioner and Shampoo. The conditioner is $24 and the shampoo is $20, and they are both 8 ounces. Actually, the shampoo is 8 ounces, the conditioner is 8.45 ounces. I have used several purple or blue toning products in the past to kind of get some of the yellow out of my hair. My hair does pull very yellow naturally, and I do like that color on me, I think in the summertime especially, but I am trying to go into more of a cool toned, maybe more like silvery platinum blonde. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but I hear really good things about the Amika Bust Your Brass purple line. I've used Pravana in the past. I've used Hask, also has a purple line. I also am using a Kenra purple conditioner, which I don't really think does much of anything. And they're all good. I'm kind of just looking for my holy grail, and obviously I would like something that's more affordable, but if it works, it works, and if it works well, then I only have to use it every once in a while. I don't have to use it like every day. I also really like purple and blue conditioners because they tend to smell like bubblegum, which is very pleasant. So definitely I would pick up those 2 products from Amika. Another brand I would like to try more products from is Melt Cosmetics. I do have one of their highlighters, and even though I am tempted to try some of their eyeshadow palettes because I love the color stories, I just feel like the formula is very touch and go. I hear people say that the shimmer shades aren't really the best, the mattes are nice, but I don't know. They're expensive palettes, and when I look at the color story, specifically like the Gemini, it's like half yellowy peaches and stuff, and I don't want that. I would want something that's fully olive, which is why I purchased the Juicy Olive palette from Give Me Glow over the Gemini. It's more affordable and I also think that the formula is really good and the color story is beautiful. So I decided to take Gemini off the list and add one of their stacks, which I hear good things about even though they are very expensive, and I chose the Gunmetal eyeshadow palette stack. This one has a lot of beautiful cool tones, shimmery taupes, purpley blues. I think that this would go really nice with the eyeshadows that I have in my collection. I do tend to go for more cool toned or neutral eyeshadows. I think those are more flattering on me, and I think that this would be something that I'd pull for a lot. Another product from Melt Cosmetics that I would try is one of their lipsticks, specifically in the shade Old Rose, which is a very cool toned grayish purple shade. 100% the reason why I would try this shade in particular is because one of my favorite YouTubers, her name's Christine McConnell, she swears by this shade. She loves this shade. If you don't know who Christine McConnell is, I definitely recommend checking her out, especially her Netflix special. I really can't even describe her aesthetic, her brand, but I really love her. Me and my friend Hannah are like obsessed with her. She calls it like her dead lady shade, and whenever she wears it, it looks stunning. So I'm hoping it would do the same thing for me. And I do like cool tone purple lipsticks. I'm wearing one today. So I would like to try that one out. That is $19 full price. And I don't think there's anything else from Melt that caught my eye. I have a couple skincare products that I'm going to go through really quickly. The first one is from Ole Henriksen. It's the Banana Bright Eye Cream. I hear Andrea Mattiano rave about this, and I am definitely one to trust her opinion because she is the type of person, when she likes something, she goes through multiples of it, and I've seen her go through multiples of this eye cream. It's $39 full price for half an ounce. Steep, but if it's good, it's good. And then I have a couple other skincare products. Two of them are from Tatcha. My friend Hannah loves this brand, but it's just a little bit steep for me to buy every day. I definitely prefer using a lot of stuff from like e.l.f. specifically, or The Ordinary, because it's very affordable. The products are good. I know they work for me, and I just don't really like spending a ton of money on skincare because it's something I go through regularly. That being said, there are two Tatcha products that I would love to try. The first one is their oil cleanser. I believe Mel Thompson talks about this product all the time. You do get 5.1 ounces for about $48, so it's not something that's too expensive, especially if you only need a little bit to get rid of all of your makeup. I hear good things about it. I am in the market for some new oil cleansers out there. I'm using one from Dermalogica right now, and I do like it, and it's around the same price. I think it's $45 instead of $48. It's one of those products that I've always wanted to try, but because of the price and because I don't really shop at Sephora that often, it kind of just gets pushed to the back burner. The other product from Tatcha is their Rice Polish Foaming Enzyme Powder, and I think I would just get the classic version. This is a really fine powder that you put a little bit in your hand and then add a few drops of water, and it kind of foams up and turns into a paste, I think. And then you use that as a very gentle physical exfoliant. I don't think it's too harsh. I think it's like very slight physical exfoliation, which I'm fine with. I also hear that the 2.1 ounce bottle lasts you forever because you only need a little bit every time. So I think that'd be really nice to try. And the last skincare product I have, let me check. The next one is another cleansing oil. It's from Kopari. It's the coconut cleansing oil. This is a little bit more affordable than the Tatcha one. It's 5.1 ounces for $32 instead of $48. And I have tried a lot of Kopari products before, and I really enjoy them. I think I did go through a mini of the cleansing oil in the past, and I know it's going to work. I really enjoy it, and I'm going to use this $1,000 opportunity to stock up on cleansing oils because I do go through them pretty regularly. It's a conditioner from Sol de Janeiro, the Brazilian Hoya Strengthening and Smoothing Conditioner, 10 ounces for $25. I'm under the impression that this is the same scent as the body cream, the Boom Boom cream, and I love the scent of that. I have gone through a full product of that, but it's expensive, not something I would want to buy again, especially because I really like the Pacifica one that I just so happen to have right here. I think the conditioner would be nice. I would love that scent in my hair. I think that would be perfect for summer, and it does have decent reviews. It has 4 out of 5 stars, so I'm always on the hunt for a new conditioner to try. Now everything else is makeup, and I'm going to try to keep it by brand. So the first one is actually one of the few products that I would purchase that I've already used up one in the past. It's from Jouer Cosmetics. It's the Essential High Coverage Cream Foundation in the shade Buff. I really like this because it's one of the few foundations I know of that has a really great shade range, that has good pigmentation, and has an olive undertone for someone with lighter skin. I used up one of these in the past. I actually just talked about it in my last empties video, and I really really liked it. It's high coverage, it's very liquidy, and it makes a great mixer with other products, so I can really customize whatever formula I want for that day. And I do typically mix multiple things to make my perfect foundation on a regular basis anyway. So I'd like to have this back in my life, so I would definitely pick up one of these. It's not a full ounce, it's 0.68 ounces for $38. Quite honestly, I have tried quite a few Jouer products, and most of them I don't like. I have returned quite a few of them just because they're not that great to me, for me personally, given the price. So there really isn't anything else from Jouer Cosmetics that I would get. The next brand I would like to grab something from is Tarte. Their Colored Clay CC Under Eye Corrector in the shade Light to Medium. It's $25. I do love a good color corrector, and I have used one of these in the past, and I do really like it. And the only reason I would purchase this is because my NYX Dark Circle Concealer that I used to use is being discontinued and I can't get it anymore. And this is kind of like the next best thing. I know it works well, it's a nice formula, and I know it'll get the job done for under eye correcting. I have a couple things from Too Faced that I would pick up, specifically their Peach Perfect Mattifying Setting Powder. This is $33 for 1.23 ounces. I hear that it smells like peaches, and I always hear really good things about it from people who have oily skin. They say that it does a good job at mattifying, which is something that I want in a setting powder sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes. I'm using one from Hourglass right now, and I don't think it's mattifying at all, and I don't really love it, so I figure in my head I'll get this one. I think it would be really nice to have a peach scented powder. So this is something I've had my eye on for a long time. And then the other one, I didn't even know that they still made. I just saw it when I was looking through the website, and I realized that they still have it, and it's the Natural Lust palette. And this is something that really doesn't make a lot of sense for me because I don't really love large eyeshadow palettes, and the color story isn't like super exciting or unique. I'm sure I have a lot of these shades already, but I always see people talk about these in like Panthos eyeshadows or other eyeshadow related videos, and they do swatches and they show the colors, and in person it just looks so beautiful, and it's something I know I would get a lot of use out of. So I would definitely pick this up. I thought this was limited edition. I thought it wasn't available anymore, so when I saw it I knew I had to pick it up for this exercise. Let's talk about a couple more eyeshadow palettes because I really feel like I would splurge and get more eyeshadows if money was no option, or whatever the phrase is. And of course I had to pick something up from Natasha Denona. I always hear such good things about the formula, but it is incredibly expensive. Some of her palettes are like $200+, which is not within my budget, but this isn't real life, this is hypothetical. So I would pick up one of their eyeshadow palettes, the Star eyeshadow palette specifically. This is $169, and I know, do people even talk about this palette anymore? I think this was like the first palette she came out with. I remember people talking about it all the time, but when I look at the color stories and the price ranges of the other ones, this one is the one that speaks to me the most. I think I would get the most use out of this, and I don't know if it's a different formula from her current palettes or not, but if I was going to get anything, it would probably be this eyeshadow. Another palette I would get is actually a face palette. It's from Smashbox. It's the Cali Contour palette, and I really considered purchasing this a couple months ago. I had a Nordstrom gift card. I had just finished my Kevyn Aucoin contour powder, and I wanted to find a more affordable replacement for it. Luckily, I have some single shadows in my collection that I use as a contour now, so I didn't need to purchase a new contour powder, but this one was like definitely in the running. I hear such good things about this palette. You get a contour, you get a bronzer, you get some blushes, you get a highlight. It looks very compact. I think it's something I would get a lot of use out of, especially when traveling, and it just seems like all of those shades would work for me. So it's $40 for 6 huge products. I think that's a great deal, and I do like Smashbox as a brand. And another face palette I would get is from Charlotte Tilbury, the Bar of Gold highlighting palette. I've seen reviews on this. People don't say it's like the most special thing in the world. It's not like it has raving reviews and people say you have to run out and get it, but I still want it. I don't know. $58 for 0.26 ounces. You get 3 highlighters. I do think all 3 shades would work for me. Maybe the darkest one would have to be more of like a blush topper. Something about it just speaks to me. I really want it, and if I had $1,000 to spend, this would definitely be something I'd pick up. I do have another product from Charlotte Tilbury. I think I've seen this in pretty much every single $1,000 Sephora wishlist video I've seen so far, and that is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Matte Bronzer. I think I would get it in the shade medium. but I'm not sure. I would want to go and swatch this in store first. So I was watching Amy Petrucci. I apologize, I'm not saying your name correctly, but I just watched hers yesterday and she had this on here, and she is fair like I am, but she said she would get the next shade up. She would get the medium instead of the light. So that kind of made me think maybe I should change it to medium for this exercise. But she also made a good point about how it is a larger bronzer. So yes, it's $55, but you get 16 grams, which is much larger than your regular bronzer. I think the Marc Jacobs Giant one is like 25 grams. So it's, you know, it's not the largest bronzer out there, but it definitely is bigger than your typical regular sized bronzer. I don't know. It's one of those things. I just like Charlotte Tilbury products. I like owning them. I have quite a few and I work my way through them. I do try to make sure to use them as often as I can just to make sure I'm getting my value out of them. But yeah, this is definitely something I would love to pick up. I have one product from Marc Jacobs. I would have also picked up their lipstick in the shade Slow Burn. That's like a classic shade that I hear about all the time, but it's not available on the Sephora website, so I didn't get it. But another product I would get is their Highliner Gel Eye Crayon Eyeliner in the shade Blacker. I have gone through one of these in the past and I really like it. I think it's a very good quality eyeliner, and I usually purchase really cheap eyeliner pencils. I don't feel like there's something that I need to splurge on, but if I had the money to spend, I would get this. I think it's really nice. I do have a couple products from Milk Makeup. I think that's a brand I would really like to try if I just had $1,000 to spend. I did pick up minis of their products because cream products are hard to go through, and I also don't know if I like them or not. So I would get the minis because I think that would be better for me, even though the cost per use or the average cost of it is higher when you get the smaller version. I would definitely get the matte bronzer. I hear fantastic things about it. People talk about it all the time. I always see it in tutorials. I think that'd be a really cool thing to try, especially since I've really gotten into cream blushes lately. I think that would be something that I could easily incorporate into my routine. I also have a cream blush, specifically the shade Work. I see It's Just Steph talk about this all the time, and when she swatches it on her hand, it always looks so pretty. I would definitely get this, but I would get the mini, so that's another $15. And actually, I think that's everything from Milk. I think I originally had their Grip Primer, a mini of their Grip Primer, but I took that off just because I don't really feel like that's something that I would need, and I had other things that I wanted to add to the list. So I should have talked about this product first, but this was the very first product I thought of that I wanted to add to my list as soon as I decided to do this video, and it is the Cogan Dough Aqua Foundation, specifically in the shade 113, which I'm pretty sure is the one with the olive undertone. This is $77 full price. This would be the most expensive foundation by like $20 that I've ever tried. This is one of those products that I have wanted for years, probably ever since I started getting into makeup seriously, and I remember Karima McKinney talking about this all the time, and I've just always talked myself out of it because I don't need a $77 foundation. But if I just had $1,000 to spend, I would definitely try this. I hear really good things about the formula. I don't hear about it as much anymore, but I would definitely love to try this. This is like, I didn't even have to think about it. I was like, oh yeah, Cogan Dough, definitely. And the last one is the Go-To Illuminating Blush from Ciate London in the shade Date Night. I have never heard anything about these blushes. I don't think I've ever really seen them in videos, not in blush collections, not in ranking videos, in nothing. I have never really heard much about these at all, but it's so pretty. The packaging, the way it sits in the pan, just everything about it is so pretty that I would just like to try it. And I do like a good illuminating blush, so it's something that I would pick up if money was no problem, if I had just randomly $1,000 to spend. I don't really think it's something that I need to run out and buy right now, but I would definitely be curious to try it. And I think that is everything. I definitely got more makeup than anything. I think when it comes to hair care and skincare, I'm pretty good with what I have, maybe trying a couple new things just for fun, but it really is makeup that I would focus on. Are any of these products on your list? Do you have any specific products that you would run out and buy from Sephora if you just had $1,000 to spend? Let me know. I'll have some other people who have done this video linked in the description box in case you want some more to watch. I think this is such a cool idea. Let me know if you'd want me to do it for another store like Nordstrom or Ulta or Dermstore or Beautylish or something like that. This was really fun to do and also not as hard as I thought it would be. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video, but in the meantime, that's everything I have. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.